The agreement on the strategic partnership between Iran and Russia has entered into force with the approval of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, Iran continues to negotiate with the United States over the nuclear deal. Ahead of the third round of talks to be held in Oman, there were positive messages from both sides.
As Iran continues nuclear negotiations with the United States, it is also focusing on deepening its relations with its allies. Iran and Russia became strategic partners. The agreement entered into force with the approval of Russian President Putin. The two countries will increase cooperation in areas such as military defense, counterterrorism, trade, and energy. However, the Kremlin underlined that the agreement does not envisage mutual military assistance. In other words, Russia will not be obliged to provide military support to Iran in a possible conflict.
Let's go back to the beginning when it comes to cooking the pot.
Iran also wants to strengthen its partnership with China, the U.S.'s biggest rival. It was announced that Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi will visit China on Wednesday, at the same time as Iran is trying to tighten its ties with its allies to avoid a potential conflict with the United States. The parties to the ongoing nuclear deal negotiations have so far met twice in Amman and Rome. The third round of indirect talks will again take place in Amman. The process is advancing positively, according to Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, who expressed readiness to negotiate with the United States in order to safeguard national interests. Pezeshkian emphasized that their intention is not to engage in conflict, but they firmly reject any form of coercion. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump acknowledged positive discussions with Iran and proposed a potential time frame for reaching a deal. When addressing inquiries regarding talks with Iran and the Russia-Ukraine ceasefire, Trump pledged to issue a clear statement regarding both endeavors during the Easter ceremony on the White House lawn within 3 days. Furthermore, he expressed optimism concerning the likelihood of the Russia-Ukraine agreement materializing this week.
In the upcoming 3 days, I will provide you with a thorough statement. However, our discussions on Iran were indeed fruitful. Additionally, we also had productive talks regarding Ukraine-Russia. Let's wait and see how everything progresses.
His administration is aiming for a deal with Iran within 2 months at the latest, but there is still no consensus on how Iran's stockpiles of enriched uranium will be stored or whether they will be destroyed. Iran wants to keep its uranium stockpiles inside the country, but the U.S. rejects this and demands that they either be transferred to Russia or destroyed. Iran also wants assurances that the U.S. will not once again unilaterally terminate the deal.